This is Chem 204 experiment number 51 on synthetic dyes, the second part. And we're going to use a completely different type of dye for this part of the experiment. And it's called malachite green. The structure is given here. We're not making it. We're using it as it's given to us. So both tests will be done with the malachite green commercially made. As before, we're going to write the formal report, answer question number 7. So experimentally, what are we going to do? We're going to apply malachite green dye to 2 fabrics, this dye. One fabric is mordanted, and the other fabric is unmordanted. And then we're going to compare the dyed results of each fabric. Now, what do we mean by mordanted fabric? We're going to treat the fabric with a binding agent, which is what they call a mordant agent, and it's going to form a metal complex between the dye and the fiber, and it's going to change the binding characteristics of the fiber. The insoluble complex that's formed here is called a lake, and that binds the dye and the fiber depending upon the fiber. We're using the same series of fibers, the same type of material that we used in part 1, we're going to use for part 2. First thing we're going to do is prepare the tannic acid solution that we need to form the metallic complex. A little bit of tannic acid and some water. Get a solution. Now, to start the preparation of the fabric, we want to coat it with tannic acid. Just we're going to leave that in there for about 5 minutes. And while we wait for that, we'll prepare the metal complex part of the reaction. This is potassium antimony tartrate. I'm going to mix some of that, pre-measured. Now we'll wait about 5 minutes. So the cloth was immersed in the tannic acid for about 5 minutes or so, just to make sure it's prepared to accept the metallic complex. And we have to squeeze the water out. But the main thing is that the tannic acid is fully absorbed into the fabric. Now we'll insert the fabric into the metallic potassium tartrate, antimony, to complete the mordant process. This will form the metallic complex or the lake that I described previously. And this will change the polarity of the different fibers or fabrics that are in the fabric. Okay. Now we'll do the same thing. Squeeze out the excess moisture. And we'll just leave it here till we're ready for the next step. So we have the mordanted cloth and we have the unmordanted cloth. So we're going to make up 2 solutions of the malachite green dye, both the same weight. And just adding water to each one. Now we have both solutions and we're going to place it on the hot plate and bring it to boil. We have 2 solutions of malachite green prepared. And we're going to put them on a hot plate and bring them both to a boil. I'm going to make up a solution of calcium hypochlorite, which is basically bleach, 2 of them. Because after we treat the fabric, we're going to have to put it in bleach to remove any particles that are not on the fabric. So we'll come over and do that. We have the solutions all ready. Now we have both malachite green dyes boiling, and we're going to take the mordanted fabric that we treated with tannic acid and potassium antimony tartrate, insert it, and let it sit for a couple of minutes. Then we're going to take the untreated fabric and put it into the other boiling. not treated. So now we're going to remove the fabric that was mordanted. We're going to rinse it and put it in bleach. And here's the fabric that was not mordanted. We're going to do the same thing too. Rinse it, put it in bleach, and observe the absorption of the dye. Now we're going to add the mordanted fabric that we just dyed to the bleach solution previously prepared. Going to do the same thing to the unmordanted fabric that we just dyed. And we're going to rinse these two. Okay, so this is the finished product of the malachite green dye. One is a mordanted fabric, the other one is unmordanted. So make your comparisons between the two fabrics and make any answer question number 7 as we did previously, and submit your formal report based upon your results that you're observing.